Hello and welcome to the Coaching Crowd podcast with me, Jo Wheatley, and my friend and co-host Zoe Hawkins.
Hi, everybody. Great to be with you again. And this week we're talking about reservations that people have when training to be a coach. We've been doing a lot of inquiry calls recently, and the same questions come up quite frequently from people who are thinking about embarking on the learning journey. So we thought we'd share them with you. And this could be relevant to becoming a coach or doing some ongoing CPD. So let's share with you the simple questions that come up. Where would you start, Jo?
I was actually thinking about a statement. I was thinking about the statement of, I don't want to be a coach. Because I think there is a difference between wanting to develop and grow and learn about coaching or pick up some skills or tools and techniques to actually identifying as a coach. And I think that can be quite off-putting for people because they think, well, I don't identify as somebody that wants to be a coach.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, we do have people that come on our programs who are from a range of fields, aren't they? So leaders, yes, and line managers who want to gain coaching skills. But we also welcome people in from a range of industries. We've had dancers and driving instructors and small business owners. And some people will come on thinking, I want to be a coach, but there will be many who are intrigued and curious and wanting to learn more and being open to where the journey takes them. So, yeah, that's a good statement to start with.
What came to your mind thinking about the reservations?
Well, one I've had recently is this piece around fitting in. And,
Mm.
and I think it's talking to that point I just said around the range of people in the industry. So I was chatting to one learner who was from a different background. It's irrelevant which one, but she was concerned that actually all the people on the program were going to be very senior leaders and she would feel like an outsider having not had a background in the corporate side. And I think this thing around fitting in is really interesting because I think whenever we enter any space, certainly here in the UK, I don't know how it is all around the world, but often at weddings and parties and social occasions, the thing you get asked is, what do you do? And that is an identifier, isn't it? And it's a way of establishing, I suppose, who you are within the room and almost like a social hierarchy. And we don't do that on our programs. When we do introductions, we try to not invite the what do you do and who you are, so that people arrive as their human self, not the what they do. And so we don't spend time kind of establishing who's got the most senior role in the room and, who's been in leadership the longest. You arrive who you are and with your goal. And I think the normalizer in the learning space is really around you're all there as learners. You're all there with an adult learning approach and an open mindset, ready to go on the journey that is the one that you want to go on, I suppose. So I think there's that piece around, will I belong? And I think the answer is it's our role as, and our facilitator's role to create spaces where you feel that you identify with the group that you're a part of.
Yeah, and I think that question often also relates to academic ability. There are on our ILM programs a requirement to undertake written work. So an assignment about coaching and mentoring in an organizational context. There's the coaching portfolio and also the reflective piece about strengths and areas for development at the end of the program too. And a lot of learners haven't engaged in or don't feel that they have engaged in that level of written work because it feels different. And I think it sets them thinking about school experiences and memories rather than writing reports and sending, things in the workplace. So, that question underlying it, which is, am I capable? My answer is always yes. Of course, you are capable. And we are here as a whole team to support you with whatever your needs are in order to be able to be successful on the program and pass through each phase of the program too. And the question around belonging, like I'm undertaking a development program at the moment, and I've just come off the back of I think it's our fourth weekend together. And I really felt at the end of yesterday, like, I feel like I belong now. And I can't necessarily explain to you what the process or the reason is. I didn't necessarily feel that I didn't belong before, but there is a feeling that we all get when it's almost like that we're sinking in to a space. And it felt like a safe space to me before. So I think we can oversimplify um, this idea of belonging. And of course, so as you were saying, Zoe, like our job, the orientation call, right through from the initial kind of inquiry calls through to the orientation call, when you get to meet your cohort and you get to look around the room and you get time in small groups and with the group and to be very open and honest about both the excitement and also the nerves and the trepidation. And in every cohort we've ever facilitated, we have been able to create spaces where people feel able to share openly. But coaching training overall is very much a leveler. So, there may be some things that you feel come easily, or you've already got it, you already know how to do it, it's natural. And there are other things that will be new or feel more difficult for you, but everybody shines at different points. The main thing is everybody does shine, and that's such a joy to experience. And we learn from each other, and the whole coaching mindset is about empowering others, enabling people to identify and connect with their strengths, and everybody has that. So if you are seeking more of a sense of belonging and connection and intimacy and joy and all of that, then coaching training is absolutely a space to really engage in, take the leap into. It's just such an amazing experience and a great leveler.
Mm. I think another one that comes up a lot is time.
Mm.
And one of the first things we say to potential learners and say to all of you here is we aren't shying away from the fact that embarking on a coaching qualification and a coaching accreditation is a lot of work. We're not going to hide that it is a lot of work. It's a lot of time invested in your learning. And it's a lot of time because what tends to happen is you light a fire of passion and then you get really curious. And so instead of being sat on the sofa at 9 o'clock, watching a bit of Netflix with a cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever your tipple is, you're opening up a coaching book and you're diving in to learn more about your values or your beliefs. And so it takes up spaces in your life, but not because of a chore and that energy of like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing this course and now I've got to do all this reading or now I've got to do my pre-work. That's not the energy that many of our learners experience. It's like, oh, amazing. I've got this hour. I'm going to, go into the learning portal and I'm going to, watch that demonstration. I'm going to do that, or I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to take the app with me and I'm going to listen to the first few lessons. Like, it's a time that you look forward to investing in rather than something that takes away your time. And I've done courses before when I've had like 3 children under the age of 7, one of which was, very young. And I embarked on a diploma in coaching supervision, which again was a significant investment in time, but I didn't mind. Like, I managed to create time around the edges and found time where I would probably not be doing anything particularly productive to invest in something that I was really enjoying. And I think that's just an important reframe to offer that, yes, of course, it's a lot of time that's required and it's sanctuary. It's your learning space, something you've chosen to do, something you're going to get huge joy from, and you will unlikely resent it. You will welcome it in as something that invigorates you rather than something that takes something away.
And it sometimes is a variation on that as well. So, like when I've signed up for a weekend program that's like a number of weekends over like a 6-month period, when I said to myself previously, that's a boundary, I'm not doing that anymore. But I couldn't fit any of the other dates in. So I'm like, if I'm doing it, and I'd waited a year and looked for other things, notes, I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have to do the weekend ones. And I signed up to this course after speaking to my husband because one of the weekends was his birthday weekend. Another weekend meant that we would need to come back from a holiday earlier than we normally would, like in order to be able to do it. And I arrive at the weekends after a full week and then going back into the other week. So is it my ideal? No. Am I glad that I'm doing it? Absolutely. And it's because I have more of a long-term perspective. So, I'm just weighing off like it's not my ideal, but is it worth it for me? And it is for me because of the relationships, like the people I meet. I love to meet new people that have similar interests. I love to hear about their experiences and witness their approaches and, and observe that. Do I find every single minute like the most enjoyable moments of my life? No, I don't. And you and I often talk about when we go on to like different programs ourselves, we rarely get from it what we originally thought we would, but what we get from it is so valuable and that it's almost inconceivable. It is inconceivable to us at the beginning. And so of course it is a mixture of emotions because we're being challenged and we're growing, and sometimes that's uncomfortable or confronting. But yourself, if you're the type of person that really is seeking that or loves that or needs that right now. So sometimes I think the desire for perfection, I think is what I'm saying, can get in the way. If I waited for the ideal dates, I just wouldn't be on it. And when people ask us, how did you get to be doing what you're doing? I think you and I have both made decisions over the years that have been worth it for us. Was it our ideal at the time? No, not necessarily. Do we regret it? Absolutely not. So yeah,
Mm.
that is something to consider. Having
Yeah,
said that, we got loads of formats. We've got evenings formats, we've got daytime, half days, whole days, semi-intensives. I mean, we've tried to cater obviously for those different needs, but still, obviously, diaries don't always ideally align.
yeah, I talk about putting the cart before the horse, so like I make decisions and I action them sometimes almost before I'm ready. And I think that's the question that comes up is that I'm not sure if I'm ready. And now readiness is an illusion, I think, a lot of the time. Like to waiting until you're ready is dangerous because you may never be ready, but you can get ready. And how do you get ready? Well, you get ready by taking action and putting one step in front of the other. And was I ready to train as a coach when I trained as a coach all those years ago? No. Would I have got ready if I just waited? No. Something
Mm.
needs to shift to become ready. And I find, for me personally, things shift when I take action. So that's what I mean by putting the cart before the horse. Like I check out into the future and I think, what do I need in my future state to be able to successfully achieve what I want? And I work back from there. It's like, okay, so that's going to mean I need to train as a coach. Do I feel like that moment is right now? Not sure, but I do know I need it. So I may as well get started. Like that's just a mindset that I have to approach things. And of course, there are considerations. So, let's not shy away from the fact that it is a financial investment. Many people fund themselves. And so a question will often get asked is like, is it worth it? From a financial investment perspective, is it worth it? And we have a couple of different models. So obviously we have many people who come on whose employers fund it. So we have questions about business case for the organization. And then we have people that fund individually around, is it worth it? We could go into both of those, but I think what I would say in terms of return on investment is you have your actual return on investment that you can measure, which is often measured in a sense of getting promoted at work or being able to go for different positions that you may not have previously thought about. You may on the program gain confidence and get clarity on your values and overcome beliefs that help you to step fully into your career and make different decisions. And of course, you may make a decision to train as a coach and a couple of clients and you've made your investment back. So you can measure that investment, whichever camp you're in. What you can't measure and put a price on is the personal transformation that you'll go through, the closeness that you'll develop in your relationships, the learning that you'll have about yourself, the enhancements to your well-being and your emotional state. Those to me are priceless because you can't measure those. And I think that personal transformation is such an important return on investment in any of these coaching and training programs.
And ultimately, as an individual, we are in control on the return on our investment. I think often people ask us that question, like, like almost like, does the course, can we provide that return on investment? But it really is an individual thing. Like, have you decided that that it's going to be worth it for you? Are you going to invest the other things that are needed, for it to be worth it for you? And it involves stretch. I think some of the reservations are around the capability in terms of, will I be able to stretch myself? Will I be able to find comfort in the stretch at some point to enable me to sustain this? And you and I, we enjoy being in our stretch whilst having the resource of comfort. And of course, one way to do it is to do it with somebody else. If you're somebody that does want the stretch, but also likes the comfort, grab a friend, grab a colleague and say, hey, you're up for doing that? We have had people, that have done that, that have been on the same cohort. Sometimes they'll be on different cohorts, but they find a sense of strength from, signing up and then going through the experience together. And you and I have done that, on programs, and we've done programs individually, too. But it is always nice having somebody else to be able to debrief on, how did you find that, and be very open and honest with. So I always think that's worth considering. Like, is this something that I want to do on my own, or do I want to do it with somebody else? And if you want to sign up with somebody else, let us know.
Yeah. I think that some of the calls I enjoy the most are with those learners who don't really have any questions. They hop on a call and they know everything about the program. They've listened to this podcast. They know that they want to be a coach. They've made the decision that they are going to train with a coach, but they almost just want to share that and have a little nudge of like, am I doing the right thing? Like, are you going to look after me? Am I going to enjoy this? And I think, yes, that's ultimately the conversation we end up having. And those conversations often end with a bit of a giggle around like, we can't wait to welcome you on, and excitement around what the next phase will unfold.
I think also it's those conversations, as you're just describing there, where I can hear and see and feel from the other person that they are going to make a great coach, or they already are, and this is, the next stage of their development in that way. And I'm able to reflect that and share that with them, because it's a genuine experience I'm having, in those conversations. And as you say, it's kind of like the affirmation of that. And even for us, it's lovely to hear, isn't it? Like, I was on something uh recently, and somebody said, oh my gosh, you're absolutely in the right role. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, but still it's so it's just so warm and affirming to have that witnessed and reflected back to you from somebody else. So yeah, love those conversations. So yes, those calls with us don't have to be, you don't have to have a list of 6 questions. If you just want to have a conversation because you just want to feel what you feel when you start to dip your toe into the possibility of it, we welcome those too.
Mm. Yes. So if you have been thinking about training to be a coach and you're sitting on the sidelines with reservations, and a great step would be to come and do our course, which is, come and do our quiz at mycoachingcourse.com, which will help you to decide which coaching qualification is right for you. And if you would prefer to actually speak to a human, then please get in touch at info@igcompany.co.uk, and we'll be happy to talk to you about your journey.